When you become rare, her desire shifts from simple curiosity to absolute obsession. How does this happen? The man who does not chase the woman suddenly becomes the very target she pursues. Scarcity creates value, and internal freedom is the deepest, most primal form of attraction. In a world that lives on excessive attention, instant messages, and the desperate hunt for validation, a different kind of man emerges. A man who does not run. He does not beg for attention. He does not pant to prove his existence. His presence alone sends a silent message. I am sufficient unto myself. Your presence is a beautiful addition, but I do not need you to be whole. This simple truth, despite its clarity, is shocking to many men. Most believe attraction comes from pursuit, from constant trying, from chasing a woman with compliments and gifts. But the psychological reality is far deeper. A woman, by nature, is drawn to the man who does not need her, not because he ignores her or belittles her, but because he operates from a place of internal abundance, not lack. He is the man who owns his life, his goals, his passion, and his values. If he loves from a position of strength. He does not flee from his solitude, he embraces it. Therefore, his presence feels heavier, his words deeper, and his decision to stay with her becomes more valuable because he is not forced to be there. Inside every woman, there is a hidden conflict. A part of her wants the man who shows attention, but a deeper part craves that man who cannot be easily possessed, that man who feels no need to prove anything. Because this type of man is rare in a world full of emotional weakness and pathological attachment. The ancient Stoics understood this depth thousands of years ago. They realized that true freedom is not in refusing love, but in living it without being a slave to it. If you believe that strength comes from within, take a second to like this video. Let's see how many strong men are here with us today. When you do not chase, but also do not artificially ignore, when you live self-sufficiently, you transmit the ultimate non-verbal signal. I choose you, but I do not need you. Here, the magic begins. Subconsciously, she realizes your value does not depend on her. Instead of you seeking her approval, she begins to exert effort to earn yours. But pay close attention. Not chasing does not mean coldness or fake behavior. True power lies in balance. Be present, be interested genuinely, but never let your self-worth hinge on her reaction. It is an internal stance before it is an external behavior. The man who pants for approval sends the opposite message. My value comes from your attention. The man who owns himself says, my value is constant, with or without you, and if I choose you, it is because you deserve my place beside me. This creates two contradictory but highly attractive feelings in a woman. Safety, because you are solid, and challenge, because she must earn her place in your world. Let's uncover the deep secrets that make the non-chasing man the one she subconsciously hunts. Secret number 1, internal sufficiency. When you own yourself, all relationships become a choice, not a necessity. A woman is attracted to the one who chooses her, not the one who begs her. Internal sufficiency is the deepest form of power because it frees you from pathological attachment. In emotional psychology, there is a rule that says the one who needs more loses more. When the other party feels you desperately need them, their respect for you automatically drops. But when you are self-sufficient, needing no external validation, others see you as a rare value that is hard to obtain. What does this really mean? It means having your own world, your goals, your life that does not stop for anyone. It means you can be happy alone. This signals, I do not need you to be complete, but I might choose you if you are worthy. This message creates massive attraction.
Why does this work? Because every day she meets men trying to prove themselves, men sending endless messages, giving excessive attention, and collapsing if they don't get a reply. When she meets a man who seems comfortable with himself, who isn't running after her, she notices him differently. This stance reflects the deepest self-confidence. In social psychology, this is called attractive scarcity. Whatever is rare is considered more valuable. But be careful. Sufficiency does not mean isolation. It means entering a relationship from a place of choice. Stoics believed happiness comes from within. If you rely on circumstances or people to feel good, you are their slave. But if you find value in yourself, no one can break you. She feels this. She sees a man who isn't trying to prove himself by chasing her. She starts trying to enter your world because you don't give access easily. Imagine you have a precious gem. If it's available to everyone for free, it loses value. If it's kept safe, only for the deserving, its value skyrockets. Are you building your own value or waiting for others to give it to you? Subscribe to the channel if you are committed to becoming a high-value man. We are just getting started. Secret number 2, silent authority. When your presence speaks before your words. There are men who enter a room and everyone feels them before they utter a syllable. True power needs no announcement. It is seen and felt. The man who doesn't chase possesses a silent authority. He doesn't rely on noise or excessive talking. His presence alone commands respect. This comes from 3 things: self-confidence, clarity of values, and internal sufficiency. Psychology calls this unspoken energy. You might meet a man who hasn't spoken yet, but you feel he is dominant and confident. This energy makes a woman notice you without you trying. It comes from knowing who you are. You don't need to justify your every move. This clarity shows in your movement, your gaze, and your chosen silence. Stoics called this steadiness of soul, being present with inner peace, unshaken by reactions. Most men try to get attention by talking too much or bragging, but when a woman meets a man with mysterious calm and confident silence, she notices him, because this scarcity of presence is rare today. Silence is not coldness. It is simply saying without words, I am here, sufficient, confident, and I don't need to perform for attention. Psychology proves that weighted silence is stronger than over-talking. Over-talking is often interpreted by the subconscious as weakness or a plea for validation. The man who speaks slowly and listens well is seen as wiser and stronger. But remember, you cannot fake this. If you are empty inside, your behavior will expose you. It starts from within. Secret number 3, emotional mystery. When the void creates curiosity. When you don't reveal all your cards, her mind starts painting pictures of you in ways you never imagined. Studies by researcher Paul Eastwick found that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear at the beginning compared to those who show direct interest immediately. Why? Because mystery opens a space in her mind called the stimulating void. This void makes her think about you. She wonders about your opinion of her. And the more she thinks about you, the more she becomes attached subconsciously. This is not about playing games. It is about not being fully exposed. A woman loves to discover a man, not possess him easily. When she meets a man who doesn't reveal everything, she asks, is he really interested? Why isn't he chasing like the others? These questions create attractive tension. Instead of giving her all the answers, she feels she has to earn her place. But be careful though. Mystery is not ignoring her. It is being present, but not drained by constant disclosure. Leave some things unexplained. Let her discover you slowly. The man who confesses his undying love before a relationship is formed makes himself fully exposed. The tension ends and his value drops. But the man who keeps some mystery, who reveals interest through actions rather than words, remains exciting even in long-term relationships. Stoics believed a strong man doesn't reveal everything because he doesn't need to. He's confident that his value doesn't depend on showing off. Think of it like a book. Do not reveal the ending on the first page. Let her read chapter by chapter. Her curiosity grows as she goes deeper. That is how emotional attraction works. If you are finding value in this video, share it with a friend who needs to hear this truth. Let's build a community of aware men.
Secret number 4, the energy of nonverbal presence. When your vibe precedes your voice. The man who doesn't chase usually has a calm, grounded energy. Why? Because he is not anxious to prove himself. This quiet confidence translates into his posture, his tone of voice, and his facial expressions. In contrast, most men try to grab attention with loud laughter or exaggerated movements. This signals a need for acceptance. But the man who is comfortable in silence, who speaks with intent, appears instantly more powerful. Research shows women are attracted to men who speak less but with authority. This suggests self-control, a trait linked to leadership. This presence cannot be faked for long. It must come from building a real life, real goals, and constant self-development. When you have a mission, you don't have time to be desperate. 3 elements build this. 1. Inner calm, peace with yourself. 2. Conscious focus, being in the moment. 3. Scarcity of speech, speaking only when necessary. Secret number 5, the scarcity principle. In behavioral psychology, the scarcity principle explains why people desire what is hard to get. It's not just about value, it's about accessibility. The man who has standards, who doesn't give his attention to just any woman, immediately appears more valuable. Most men do the opposite. The moment they get a hint of interest, they flood her with attention. They become cheap, high supply, low demand. The rare man chooses carefully. This isn't arrogance, it's knowing your worth. When a woman realizes you are not easily available, her mind translates that to high value. But this must be real. You can't just pretend to be busy. True scarcity comes from actually being busy building your empire, your body, and your mind. You literally don't have the time to chase. The Stoic wise man focuses on what he can control, himself. This makes him naturally rare.